Thank you for coming, everyone. Good evening. We are going to get the meeting started. Call the meeting to order. Okay, so if we could have a moment of reflection. Okay, thank you. And now, if you'll stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. Hill, if you could do guidelines for public comment, please.
Thank you. Meetings of the Anderson Community School Board of Trustees are open to the public in accordance with Indiana's open door law. Prior to the board meeting, members of the public can sign up and provide public comment. During the public comment portion of the meeting, the board president will call individuals signing up to the podium one at a time to speak. Speakers will be asked to state their names, addresses for the record prior to sharing their comments. Generally, each speaker shall not exceed 5 minutes to address the board and cannot give their minutes to anyone else. Public comments should be directed at the board, not individual board members. Shouting, loud statements, threats, names calling, offensive language, or other improper conduct is not permitted. An employee speaking on matters involving his or her own individual employment matters will be reminded that ACS has a grievance and complaint procedure, which have been designated and established to address these type of issues. Those processes provide a more thorough opportunity with greater time, which board members are involved as a step in those procedures. Comments concerning individual employees' employment will be deferred to those processes. When appropriate, the board will refer questions to the superintendent. Some concerns may be addressed at the time. However, others may require further research to ensure information provided is both accurate and complete. In those instances, the board or a member of the administration will be designated and will follow up with the individual sharing the public comment to ensure their questions or concerns have been properly addressed.
All right, Dr. Cronk.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, you've received in your mailings and in your packet tonight's agenda. I ask that you approve that without modification.
Okay, I call for a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, questions from the board? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All those anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, ayes have it unanimously.
Thank you, Board. Next up is the approval of the board minutes from the May 11th, 2026 board meeting. I ask that you approve those.
Okay, call for a motion to approve board meeting minutes from May 11th.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, questions? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Madam President, I'll abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any opposition, say nay. Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll move on to superintendent's comments. We've got several presentations tonight, so I will keep my remarks to somewhat of a minimum. But first, we're going to bring up Ms. Ann Poole. She's our administrative nurse coordinator, and she has a presentation for us this evening.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to take a minute before I retire to kind of let you know what has been going on with ACS nursing services in the last 25 years. Just a brief overview. I'll try to be real quick here. So school nurses, we want to be part of the educational team to let you know that we are a professional specialty group, just like you might have research nurses or surgery nurses. We are school nurses. And originally, school nursing services were intended as a way to improve attendance, but studies have shown that it just increases the lifelong success of the students through the rest of their lives. What is a school nurse? In Indiana, it is defined as a registered nurse, and I've quoted the codes there where it's defined as a registered nurse. And there is a recommendation for schools in Indiana to have one registered nurse for every 750 students. That is a recommendation. The requirement is one registered nurse with a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing for each corporation, but the recommendation is one for 750 students, and that is a smaller ratio when special ed is involved, and special ed is involved in all of our schools. We have 13 schools. I got the data here on the 6,054 students from January. And then the additional number is because we have more students at D26 that come to school, but they come from the county schools, so it makes our population look a little different. We have 4 RNs, and me as the director. 2 of those have a Bachelor of Science, 2 of them have 2-year associate degrees, and we have 8 LPNs if you divide that out, it should be 8 school nurses, 8 RNs. Just a little difference between what is a Bachelor of Science nurse and an associate's degree nurse. Those are registered nurses. They both take the same exams. It's just that the 4-year program has a lot broader, deeper time spent on theory, physiology, leadership, critical thinking. An LPN takes a different test. It's a 1 or 2-year program, and they have a lot more focus on technical, physical skills that are used in the job, and they follow the supervision of an RN or a doctor. Just about what we do. We do professional development at least twice a year. Basic first aid, cardiac illnesses, AED training, seizures, diabetics, choking, overdoses. So emergency situations, chronic disease management. These are all things that start with an A, just at the beginning of the alphabet. And just wanted to let you know that we have students in our corporation with every one of these diagnoses, and that these are some of the things that just happen to start with the letter A that our school nurses do take care of. They make care plans or health plans with the family, educating the family and staff and the student in hoping for to create independent adults who can manage their chronic diseases. We, of course, provide medication, monitor the medications, investigate them, make sure they're being taken correctly. At about 30% of our clinic visits do involve the administration of medication. Other things we do is health screening. Vision screenings are mandatory in grades 1, 3, 5, and 8. A little more involved screening for first graders. We check the vaccine status on all of the kids, and we do provide puberty education for students in 4th and 6th grade. On the other side of the screen is approximately how many we did this year. Now, the vaccine compliance is, unfortunately, that one is skewed downward because our current class of seniors that just graduated had about a 65% compliance rate because they had lacked that final meningitis vaccine. So unfortunately, that group of kids skewed us all down. But when I compared that to around the county, we're all about 95% around the county. So hopefully next year we can increase the senior class with their meningitis vaccine. Other than that, everybody is on up. Improved vaccination rates. We started excluding again this year. It's been helpful. Also, our education and advocacy. We have done Stop the Bleed training at every school. The last couple years, that's a campaign to prevent people dying from bleeding. And it's a movement that came out of Sandy Hook, and I trained 405 staff members a couple years ago. That was with the help of our friends at the Madison County Health Department, Community Hospital, and Ascension. That's a big number, 37,452. That's how many clinic visits we had this first semester of this year. Yeah, woo! What happened? How many times did you guys go to the school nurse when you were in school? That's a lot of visits, and it takes a lot of management and a lot of hours to take care, and that is not including screenings. That is not including letters, the time it takes to send letters home for vaccines. Those are engagements with students for a variety of reasons. So what's new with us? So we did have just one RN BSN who was a coordinator and also had their own school responsibilities, and then in July of '23 they changed and made a position where the RN BSN is the kind of director, coordinator, supervisor of all of the nursing staff. And through that change, we've got a really strong working relationship with the Madison County Health Department, Ascension, and Community Hospital. We're doing more professional development. 4 of our nurses have gone to the school nurse conference that's held each year. It's very informative. I think I have a picture of that. Yep, there we are this year. It's a statewide for Indiana. Lots of important topics are discussed. We also have started with Covering Kids and Families, which is more of a networking with alliances with other people who, like you guys would use the word stakeholders. They probably use that phrase, with who we would interact with, maybe some immunization coalition, how to help families navigate Medicaid, that kind of thing. It's more of a networking, and we've been going to that the last couple years. And we have 2 nurses going again this summer. That'll be next week. As far as new things, Madison County Health Department has named Dr. Sarah Neal as their school nurse liaison, and she has been helping us with all kinds of stuff with training, screening, and vaccinations. We've got new AEDs for the entire corporation with Jeff Sells. We got those a couple years ago, and then Laura Smith and I and Larry Rittenhouse, we're all CPR, AED, first aid instructors, and so we have, with Larry's fine leadership, we've been working on getting all the teachers that require and request their certification redone. We're doing that. We have started free dental screenings and cleanings available. We've expanded that from all schools, pre-K through the high school now. This year we had free vaccine clinics in every single school. The parents could do their permissions digitally, so the kids were vaccinated at school if the parents chose to do that. The MCT vision screens, that's a legal requirement that we started doing that this year, and it is a more in-depth vision screening on first graders that involves ophthalmologists in the area donating their time to come into school and do an actual visual exam of the students. Life Smart Youth is a group that I think they presented to you guys back in September, our Puberty Talks company that does that. They also provide top-notch, wonderful programs for middle school students about relationships and dating and red flags, things to avoid. And this year we've expanded their program. It's all free through grants. They've started with the high school 10th graders doing a mental health program. It is a week-long session, so it was in a health class, and they came every day for the week. And I was completely impressed, teaching our students about mental health, what it is not, what things are normal, the ups and downs of teenage life versus when is time to seek treatment, and just getting rid of some of the myths that they may have formed about what it would look like to get help. An excellent program, and we're getting them scheduled again next year for free. Life Vacs are the choking assistance little suction thing we have bought there in all of our AED boxes. We now are following Indiana's provisional law and having stock albuterol, epinephrine, and Narcan in schools K through 12. We have started billing Medicaid for reimbursable services. And of course, I think we've probably talked about the new sudden cardiac arrest law that came into effect in July, and we've been working on getting the protocols and procedures and getting in line with the state laws requirements for the scenario. That's a lot. Here's your school nurse team. Just in case you don't know who they all are, there they are. And what's next? I'm retiring on Friday. I just want to mention that just want to appreciate Dr. Cronk and his flexibility and wisdom in recognizing our nursing staff financially. We appreciate it. Just want to remind everybody that we are real professional nurses. And I put team on there because we really, really want to be part of the educational team, whether that is in safety, whether that is in special ed services. We want to be considered. And that's a picture from Denali when we went to Alaska last year. I thought everybody might like to see Denali. There's Helen Keller. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And yeah, just remember that your school nurses are professional members of the school team who want to work to support all students. And there's my puppy. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Poole?
Oh.
Who's going to take, what 5 people are going to take your place next year?
We just hired my replacement. Her name's Christy DeFries.
Respacement. Respacement. No one can take your place. And Ms. Smith back in the back. I see you back there. The other nurse that's retiring this year. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
Laura's retiring too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service
Yeah.
and for all of the hard work that you showed us this evening. You will be missed, and you're very appreciated for that. So thank you for the presentation. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Mr. Rittenhouse in the back.
Yeah.
I just went through his CPR training and first aid training, and it was extremely well done, very informative, and I appreciate you, sir, for continuing making sure all of our employees are up to date on those requirements. So do we have anything else from any of the board members? No? Thank you again.
All right, we'll move on. Superintendent's comments. What'll be nice is you don't get to hear me talk very much because I have a very small part in this, but Mr. Meadows, if you want to kick it up. What I'm going to talk about tonight for just a few minutes is the Rube Goldberg team from Anderson High School, and if you don't know what Rube Goldberg is, the Rube Goldberg project, you're given a simple task and you have to make it as complicated as possible. So this year's task was to open a box, and I think you had to do it in at least 35 steps, and it all has to be automatic. And there's a story, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but this team was called the Plank Walkers because I believe it was a story from preschool or something that was read to them. So their box that they opened was a treasure chest, in keeping with the pirate theme. But what's amazing, and we'll have the team come, and normally we have them come present a video of their machine, because if you know anything about Rube Goldberg machines, they're notoriously complicated, and they're subject to all kinds of little mechanical errors when you move them. So we have them come and show us a video. But they got second place in the world contest.
Yeah.
They also won the Artistry Award, and you can see they're very artsy there. And they won the Spirit Award because, you know, we are very spirited here. So we will have them probably as the year starts. We'll have Mr. Perrell come and present a video on this, and we'll give them some more recognition. With that, we had another successful project called Lemonade Day, and we were going to have the teachers who were involved in that come, but they have got other things that it's their summer, you know, so they've got other things that they're working on. So Mr. Meadows was involved since his wife was one of the teachers, and he's going to present on that. So Mr. Meadows?
Thank you, Dr. Cronk, and I'll be brief, but I do want to talk about this, and I was involved a little bit, so I have some information to share. First, this whole process started about a year ago. Tammy Dixon Tatum with the Anderson-Madison County Black Chamber of Commerce reached out to us and said, hey, I want to tell you about Lemonade Day. And so Lemonade Day is a nonprofit learning program that teaches children how to start a business, a lemonade stand. And so through a step-by-step curriculum, students learn vital life skills such as goal setting, budgeting, marketing, and financial literacy. I pulled this from their website. I think this is really important, and it's something we saw, and I think the three teachers saw, was just the spark that was lit by some of our students that participated. And so every kid is one lemonade stand away from having their life transformed. And I truly believe that some of the students that participated had their life transformed through this process. So on May 9th was Community Lemonade Day. I just want to share a few photos. As Dr. Cronk mentioned, a big shout out to Mr. Billen, Mr. Schnepp, as well as Mrs. Meadows. They were the three teachers at Eastside Elementary that participated. Here's some photos of the kiddos with their lemonade stands. Now keep in mind, they did all the marketing. They developed their recipe in terms of the lemonade that was sold. And they were spread out throughout the city of Anderson on May 9th. And we ended up having a really good day for that. It was in the mid-70s. It was very successful. You can see their creativity. Love that photo right there. Professor Lemons, I think, was the name of that group, so you can tell they're very creative. And so I wanted to share this photo. I have a couple just brief stories that I think are good examples from this project. What do you see here? I see a smashed cup. Mr. Schnepp, he sees 7 cents. So this was a story that in his class he had shared that there was a cup that was smashed, and he told one of his kids, hey, that's 7 cents. And they kind of looked at him like he had two heads. But then they realized, oh yeah, that's money that's taken away from our business. I want to point out this photo as well. These are the Juice Bros. They had a really prime location at the Hobby Lobby Plaza right there in front of Dollar Tree. And so you'll notice they have a little cup there. Now again, I'll ask you, what do you see? I see a $1.25 cup from Dollar Tree. What the Juice Bros saw was a $5 souvenir cup. Now I have one of those cups. Because my son had to have one, okay? So when Mrs. Meadows was traveling around, he just had to have a souvenir cup. So I love this story because I think it shows the ingenuity and creativity of our kids to be able to reinvest those profits on the spot and be able to make more money. A little bit of numbers. So again, we had 3 fifth grade classes at Eastside participate, 19 teams. So we had 19 lemonade stands all throughout the community that day. 71 students participated. They raised just over $4,000.
Wow.
Now what's really great, I talked about that partnership piece at the beginning with the Anderson-Madison County Black Chamber of Commerce. They covered not just the curricular materials, but the $1,800 in startup costs, meaning the kids got to keep all the profits. And what they did with those profits that following Friday, May 15th, they were on their 5th grade trip to Louisville, and they got to use some of that money on their trip.
Cool.
So really just a great story. Again, I can't thank enough the Anderson-Madison County Black Chamber of Commerce, those 3 teachers for stepping up. We hope that this continues. I know those teachers plan to do it, and we're hopeful that it can expand to other schools. And I'll turn it back to you, Dr. Cronk.
Any questions that Mr. Meadows can try to answer, since the teachers aren't here?
I personally don't have any questions, but if the teachers are listening that participated, and to all the students that participated, thank you. I'm proud of you. This is something that you can use in your future, I promise. Teachers, to get more of you involved next year in other buildings. I know I am just one person, but I will have more time on my hands since I will not be on the board anymore. So I will help in any way I can. I'll get curriculum ready, make Xerox copies, be the footwork, handwork, whatever you need. We need to get this in more of our buildings.
I just want to say that we had strawberry lemonade, David and I did, and it was really good. So they did a really good job. And I think Kathy McCord had lemonade too, so, but it was good and worth the money. Thank you.
Okay, Madam President, that concludes the superintendent's comments.
All right, thank you. Okay, let me get my list ready. Okay, so we're ready for board president's comments, and the first item underneath my comments section, I am so proud and honored to be able to introduce these amazing students here. They are part of Mr. Z's calculus presentation team, right, from Anderson High School, and they gave a presentation to the community in the auditorium of Anderson High School, and some of us were able to attend, and let me tell you, they blew my mind for many reasons, but one reason is because they were so prepared. Another reason, they had an amazing idea that is actually attainable for ACS to do in a few years. And 3, they did it all in 2 weeks. I will know that will always blow my mind. So, without further ado, please welcome these amazing students.
Yeah.
Mr. Z. Oh, Mr. Z is not here, my apologies, but these amazing students are.
While he tries to get the presentation on, I do want to thank all of you guys for having us. I'm sorry, I'm a little tall. I'm going to have to crouch a bit. But we are all a part of a research group at our high school of our AP Calculus class. And we were given a task to have a project to create a change, and not just to create a change, but to find a subject that we favored. And we picked implementing Spanish into elementary schools. So we can start the slideshow. Can you skip it again? You have it? Do you want to take time to just? Okay. So the purpose of the plan is to improve communication between staff and students at elementary schools, to improve academic achievement from bilingualism, biliteracy, and cultural competency for students, and prepare students for a multilingual and global workforce. The overview of the plan is to begin implementation in the next few school years, develop common core standards for Spanish implementation from the curriculum and so on, and to train current kindergarten teachers along with other instructors of the following grades in this program. Exclusively hire bilingual teachers after current teachers retire, and insert ENL paras and teachers into the classroom to assist teachers during the first years of the program. We also want to review the test scores and conduct evaluations in classrooms to monitor the program progress, to see how it's going, and to make changes and alter it if we need to change it, and to revise the program if needed to accommodate our students. So you may ask the question of why dual language immersion? There has been prior proven success in schools with demographics similar to Anderson Elementary. The research supports that the test scores are improved. There's cognitive development, communication skills, cultural awareness, and long-term career opportunities. So our plan is to start at the kindergarten, we would have a teacher teach 80% in Spanish and 20% in English. And as we go on from first grade, teacher would teach 70% in Spanish and 30% in English. Second grade, a teacher would teach 60% in Spanish and 40% in English. Third grade, a teacher would teach 50 in Spanish and 50 in English. In fourth grade, it would lessen. 50 again in Spanish, 50 again in English. In fifth grade, it would be 50 in Spanish, 50 in English. So it continued. And this is our key findings. We had a professor from IU South, and she was able to help us find research to better our initiative. And this initiative has a graph overview showing the dual language schools, and just basically showing that the people that had the dual language programs consistently produced the strongest long-term academic outcomes, and the dual language students continued improving through high school, often outperforming peers in other programs. And this is information given from Miss Maria Alexander. You guys may know her. She is the Anderson Education Foundation Executive Director. And she was able to have a unique connection with her mother, who has a lot of involvement with dual language immersion. So this was just benefits showing the people that took the program and was able to, have certifications. So that could benefit our kids that go through this program. And this is local case studies. These are all schools in Indiana, like Westview, which is an elementary school in Muncie, and they implement an 80-20 dual language immersion model. We also have Eisenhower Elementary, Warsaw Community Schools, which utilizes a 50-50 dual language immersion model. Summit Elementary, Monroe County Community School Corporation, which follows a 50-50 dual language immersion model. And Harrison Elementary School, South Bend Schools, which offers a two-way immersion model similar to the 50-50. So there is an extensive list of benefits. However, we just put some down for the presentation. And academic benefits is of the higher test scores and stronger academic performance. Going through the elementary schools and our research, we found that the people that were able to speak both Spanish and English, and some mainly just Spanish, were able to do better on test scores. So by going through our dual language immersion, we were thinking that it could improve our test scores throughout ACSC. There's also improved vocabulary and communication skills, better problem solving and critical cognitive thinking abilities, social benefits like increased cultural understanding and respect for diversity, stronger communication in peers and community, greater confidence working with different people and cultures, and career benefits is of the more future job opportunities, the higher earning potential as a bilingual employee, better preparation for a global workforce, and advanced communication and leadership skills valued by employers. This is more research given to us by Ms. Maria Alexander, and it was just saying of the certifications, a certified bilingual student may earn up to 20% higher on wages, access 35% more job opportunities, be 1.5 times more likely to be hired by global companies, and qualify for many high-demand jobs without needing a bachelor's degree. This is our cost. I don't really want to go through all of it because it might confuse all of you. However, we basically estimated and generalized all the costs, and it kind of goes off the page a little bit there of how much it'd be, starting with the cost of the program in the pilot school, which we were implying to be Anderson Elementary. It'd be $1,298 for 1 year of the program. For one generation of students, it is $7,788. And for the Spanish Ivy Tech courses for teachers, 18 credit hours would be approximately $2,577.11. from the student and teacher materials, we'll have $15 to $50 per student, and the teacher bilingual stipend would be $4,000. Bilingual early education teacher salary would be around $55,000, and the total plus the stipend and coursework would be around $61,577 times 4, which is the amount of E&L teachers that we are planning to have, like at Anderson Elementary, which would be $246,308.44, if I said that right. I can't see the number. But going into funding, we have many different funding organizations and programs that we can implement, and we met a lot of other people at the presentation at the high school that can also help with this. But we have an NEA Foundation Educator Grants and Fellowships, around $5,000, the Impact Program that can give around $3,000, and also national professional development programs like the teacher tuitions, the stipends, materials, and the dual language immersion pilot program grant that can be estimated around $10,000 to $25,000. And like I said, there are more funding programs, and we had booklets. If you guys want to see that, we still have some. But yeah, I do want to thank all of you guys again for listening to us. If you have any questions, we'd be open to it. Sorry if I went a bit too quickly.
No, you are totally fine. First of all, you did a great job.
Yes.
So good job. And really quickly, before I ask for questions, can each of you introduce yourselves? Just say your name and what grade you're in, please.
My name is Christian Crawford. I just graduated.
And he was a top 20 student.
Yeah,
10.
there you go.
My name is Clayton Campbell, and I will be a senior this year.
Okay.
My name is Allison Sutherland, and I am a senior this year.
I'm Scarlett Aguilar-Clark, and I will also be a senior this year.
Wonderful. Good job. Do we have any questions from my fellow board members?
Not a question, just a statement. Once again, you heard us that day, 2 weeks to put this together. You covered a great deal of ground and come up with amazing, over the years, very few groups have gone to the length of even going out. It's like, what are the criticisms possibly of this? And you guys answered those questions very thoroughly, and I applaud your thoroughness and work on this. Thank you.
Would any of the rest of you like to say something?
Okay, so just to circle back a little bit, for one of our case studies with Westview, their district was actually, like that school, specific school, was one of the lowest test scores in their whole district. Like, I mean, actually their whole like city. And after they implemented this program, it actually rose to be the best and the highest test scores all around. For a little backstory on why we want to implement it into Anderson Elementary, it's because of the diversity there and like the actual demographics. We believe that this can help like both students that spoke English and Spanish actually, because we want to implement a sort of type of buddy system where they can both benefit off of each other. Where it says like a funding, that's not a total, it's not necessarily wrong, however, it's not necessarily correct either, because we do implement, we want to use ACSC's already, like the E&L teachers that are already there. We plan to, what we wanted to do, and we talked a little bit to the principal of Anderson Elementary about this program, we wanted to implement, and actually the E&L specialist there, we wanted to talk to them about if like we wanted to utilize the E&L teachers in the classrooms so that they can help the students that are struggling, and also help the students like in already where they are doing now, like they pull out the students to help them. However, we feel like if we implement them into each classroom that we're learning this, it'll be a better outcome for the students learning this, like in this dual language program. So that's one of the big things where it's like it'll cost much less money by using them. We still want to, how do I say it? We still want to put teachers through the correct training for this program, because this is like, it's very detrimental for them to learn how to correctly do it. And that will be a little funding. However, we do plan to, we have a lot more listed as well in our booklet. is there's a lot of funding opportunities that we qualify for, that this program qualifies for, that we can eventually get around to, so we can, you know, use that funding for new teachers or to educate the teachers or put the teachers through education, as well as like classroom essentials for this program as well. So yeah.
I was going to say, did anyone else have any?
Small comment on one of the funding. There's a grant from the Indiana Department of Education. I think the numbers were inaccurate in our slideshow. It's actually up to $50,000 per year of the implementation of this program, and it could increase if the program is expanded for every year.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, did anyone else have? No? We good?
Are there any more questions?
Any other
It was
questions?
a great presentation.
Yeah, and I just wanted to tell the community, this is why I will never count our young people out. I love them. I've always said that, like they're my own, and this is one of the many reasons why. If we as adults listen to them, I promise they have creativity. They will come up with help.
It's around 19 of us. Yes. And we all had different committees and groups that we all helped out on. We didn't want to overwhelm and bring everybody, so we just brought a few of us. However, a lot of people worked on this, and again, like 2 weeks, we even went to the library, and you know, so it was a lot of us, though. It's in the booklet. If any guys want to see it, we can give it to you.
Yeah, there was a lot of information in that booklet. All right, any other questions from the community? Oh, Bucky, you wanted to? Oh, did you want to say something? No? Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to. Okay, any other questions from the community? No? Okay, thank you again so much. Great job. Okay, let's see, what do we have next? All right.
Madam President, is there a copy of the, can we get a copy of that? Or-
Yeah, so I think some of the members have some, but for those that weren't able to attend, if you have extra for Mr. Chamberlain, Mr. Bookhart, and Miss Collette here.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Collette. All right, thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to our graduation report. Graduation is one of my favorite events to attend. This year I was extra sentimental. Had to hold in the ugly cry a couple times. I've made a lot of great, what's the word I'm looking for, connections with our students, and with this being my last one, it was extra special. So we're going to go through this presentation the best I can. Okay, there's some wonderful pictures from the event. All the smiles. I think the kids look forward to the hat throw the most, I think, yeah. Okay. So the graduation ceremony was held in the gymnasium for the 2026 class at Anderson High School on Saturday, June 6th. In addition to overflow seating in the auditorium, there was a link to watch the graduation ceremony online. We had 334 students walk during the ceremony. 38 of those students graduated with academic honors, and 27 students earned Core 40 technical honors. Yes, it was the 150th class of Anderson High School. You are correct. You're fine. 117 students are going to college. 58 plan to go directly into the workforce. 38 students are undecided. 16 students plan to attend technical job training. 14 students plan to enter apprenticeship for manufacturing or construction. 11 plan to enlist in the military. We have 4 Army, 3 Marine Corps, 2 Navy, 1 Air Force, and 1 National Guard. And the Indiana College Corps, the ICC, is a 30-credit-hour block of general education coursework. By completing these specific college-level classes, students are awarded a certificate that transfers seamlessly as a full block of credit to all Indiana public universities and several private institutions. 26 students earned the ICC. In total, 177 students from the 2026 graduating class registered for 1,616 dual credit hours. Since there is no cost for these credits, this saved families $274,748.
Wow.
That's amazing. So, academic scholarships. The 2026 senior class at Anderson High School combined to receive over $1.4 million in scholarships.
Wow.
That's huge. Additionally, there are 55 students that completed all the requirements for the 21st Century Scholarship. And a huge congratulations to the AHS class of 2026. All right, it was a wonderful day. Okay, now, last but definitely not least is information about where we're at in regards to the superintendent search. Okay, during the process of extending Dr. Cronk's contract last fall through June 30th, 2027, the ACS Board of Trustees vowed to solicit input from community members, parents, and staff during the process of the hiring of the next superintendent. To help guide the superintendent search process, the ACS Board of Trustees is working with the university search team. The university search team is composed of professors representing several Indiana universities. They specialize in working with school boards on hiring superintendents. Stakeholder input. A survey was released on Monday, May 11th, 2026, and remained open until Friday, May 22nd, 2026. We received 699 responses to the survey. That's great input. This survey provided great insight to the board and will help to guide our town hall meetings. Since the survey contained multiple choice questions only, we received feedback that the survey didn't allow individuals to share comments. Please attend town hall meetings, or at least one, to ensure your comments are heard. Following the survey, the ACS Board of Trustees will be holding a series of town hall meetings for key stakeholders. For parents and community members, Thursday, July 16th, 2026 at 6 p.m. will be held at D26 Career Center. Monday, July 20th, 2026 at 6 p.m. will be held at Anderson Elementary School. Monday, July 27th, 2026, at 6 p.m. will be held at Highland Middle School. And we do have 2 set aside for just the staff. On Monday, August 24th at 4 p.m. will be held at Anderson High School, and Thursday, September 3rd, beginning at 6 p.m., will be at Anderson Intermediate School. And I will use that time really quickly. Brad and I are currently working on a virtual option that was brought up at the last month's school board meeting for those who either don't have transportation, can't attend on those dates or times. We are really trying to meet the needs of every single community member. So in conclusion, again, Dr. Cronk is our superintendent through June 30th, 2027. We are starting this process early and using this time to be thorough and inclusive. Stakeholder input and transparency is critical to this process, and we will continue to keep stakeholders informed. And the information shared this evening about opportunities to provide stakeholder input on the superintendent search will be communicated on the ACS website, social media, and through Parent Square. There are also handouts here this evening with a QR code to sign up to attend one of the town hall meetings. Okay, now before I end and ask for questions, I do want to reiterate the importance of community input. That is extremely important to this entire board. We do have QR codes to register. You can even, call the admin building and try and get a hold of Mr. Meadows and register that way. We're trying to give the community every opportunity, and we only have 7 people signed up to come in and attend a town hall meeting. So all I'm going to say is if you want to have your voice heard, show up. Okay? Any questions, comments from the board?
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
we're trying to be very open about our next superintendent. And we're going to give the community the opportunity to tell us who they elected, who they want, and give them some opportunity to have some input. Sometimes the community feel like they're left out. And now is the opportunity for you to make a statement to the board about what you want in our next superintendent. To only have 7 that has signed up is not good. We'll make the decision based on those 7, I guess, if no one else wants to participate. But we are giving you opportunities, community, teachers, parents, to tell us who you elected what you want. So please tell a family member, a friend, a niece, a nephew, that we need input from the parents, the grandparents, the children, the student. We need your input on what you would like to see in our next superintendent. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right. It is time to have comments from the community. All right. The first person to have signed up to speak is Darwin Warner.
My name is Darwin Warner,
stay at 1653 Hillcrest Avenue. I was going to
Mr. Warner, can you move your microphone down a little bit closer? Thank you.
Yes, I was going to speak, but sometimes in this life, you have to listen to the Spirit. Ecclesiastes 3 and 7 says there's a time to speak and a time to be silent. Even though I wanted to speak, the Spirit's pressing me to be silent. So I'm going to be silent, but, you know, the next time I would definitely share what is heavily on my heart.
Thank you very much for that. Let's see, glasses. Next up, Mary Baker Bujisa.
Greetings, board members and community members. It's really nice to have some good news tonight. I think we all could use some good news in this current climate, and so I just want to say thanks to the students for their presentation, and I know the nurses have left, but school nurses are heroes, and 100 years ago when I was in elementary school, it was a school nurse who brought to my parents' attention that I was suffering some hearing loss, so that's significant for me, and I appreciate the work that they do. And 32,000 visits in the first semester is wild. You know, we have ERs that may not see that much. So one of the things that I wanted to do, thank you for answering all the questions through the superintendent update and the call out to the community for coming to the town hall meetings. In sitting here, I was thinking about like the suggestion for the virtual meeting last time, and I thank you for taking that to heart and also making a space for that. One thing that I also want to just clarify is that when you say registration, are you asking people to register or they can't attend the town hall, or would you just prefer to have that to get numbers? That helps as we're spreading the word in the community.
Sure, absolutely. The registration is for number purposes only.
Okay.
That way, if there's, let's say, I mean, of course, we're still going to show up, right? With that said, though, if there's no one who registers for Highland Middle School, then we need to reconvene and say, okay, do we need to reach out to the community and ask for another, hey, we really need you to register? Or do we need to cancel that meeting and move it to another location? Those types of things. We're really trying to see how we can make these meetings the most beneficial.
Right. And I think that's good, not requiring registration. And just the nature of these things is that I don't think a lot of people register all the time because they may decide at the last minute to come, or they may hear word of mouth. So just as a community member and someone who knows that if someone tells me at the last minute I might pop up to something that's happening, that it could be good to do some more outreach to like groups where a lot of people are coming together. I don't know if you've sent it to churches and said, you know, we know that, you know, there are members of your community that have children, and we know that you are important stakeholders in the community. Here's a QR code, you can share it, you know, with your constituents. It's not partisan, it's not anything related to that, but it's just saying there are some organizations that have a lot of people, and they have literally a bully pulpit to say this is coming up, and I think that might be helpful. I know that I've seen some other flyers circulated about other events that come to churches.
Okay.
And so they share that information. And I also just wanted to offer that I think the virtual meeting is great, and that if you aren't getting the kind of feedback and interaction on the other in-person meetings, please don't cancel them, because you still might have people come.
Sure.
And it's worth it to hold the space so that you know that you have held the space, and just do your best to reach out to any of those organizations, because there are a lot of us that I think are trying to get the word out, want to make sure that people are seeing it and that they can come. And one just piece of feedback from a couple of parents that I was talking to is that they had a little trouble navigating to find the survey, so you might want to, for a period of time, pin it to the top of the notifications. I don't know, can you do that? Pin it as a top notification so that when people go into Parent Square, they're seeing that first, and it's a good reminder for them to see it. But all in all, just well done. These presentations were very timely and good for my spirit. I don't know if they were good for everybody else's, but really good to see today. So, well
Yeah,
done.
I know,
Well done,
they're
y'all.
so awesome.
And that's all. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Alrighty. We had one more person. Looks like Danny McGee would like to discuss a project at Edgewood. Oh, hi, Danny.
Hello. Good evening. I just would like to say on behalf of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated that we would like to thank you for allowing us to be a sponsor and conjoin with Edgewood Elementary School. I'm strictly here just to give you an update on what we've done. Since the last time I was here, I want to say March. So, as you can see, a lot of people here don't believe I really get out and do work, but when it comes to kids, I actually do support ACS, and I support ACS proudly because I am ACS as well. I grew up here in the school system. And as you know, when we came to you, we decided to try to pick a school that really wasn't getting some help. All the schools get help, but we wanted to identify with a smaller school where we could have a little bit more impact and see and assess everything that they needed. After meeting with the principal there at Edgewood Elementary School, we ended up building approximately 300 bags. We wheeled them into the school. They was all repackaged them ourselves and gave the items to Edgewood Elementary School. And so on Tuesday, the 26th of this month, the chapter of Kappa Theta Sigma, chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated, with the brother, the president, Keelan Daniels, director of education, Tim Edwards, who was here, and first vice, Jacob Boyden, and myself, delivered some hygiene products to Edgewood Elementary School. We gave a total of 300 bags, and they were individually bagged. 4 containers, big containers of laundry, and 4 big boxes of the fabric softener that went along with them. We identified some of the needs at that school at that time because I know some of you were like, what do you need, what do you need? We actually went into the school to assess some items that the school needed. And we found that at that school, sometimes our kids or some of the smaller kids have some soiled clothes. Sometimes they get picked on. So we wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to feel as important as the next one. So that is why when you see that we donated some of the laundry detergent, some of the fabric softener, and it wasn't the generic. We actually gave them some good stuff, so we felt that sometimes building a person's self-image helps with your own personal growth and education. In those bags, we provided body wash, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush with the covers, mouthwash, lotion, feminine hygiene products, laundry detergent, and the laundry softener. We felt that at that time, what was needed, and we're getting into the summer, these are items that is much needed. We only had a short window to kind of work with, and working with the principal and the kids' studies, this is what we actually did as the fraternity. So we are excited to continue with this adopted school program throughout the community. And even we've talked to the principal that we're planning to join in with Edgewood Elementary School to do a back-to-school event. We want to help push Edgewood Elementary School enrollment. We want those numbers to come in for ACS. We want to partnership with them. We're looking at throwing some kind of outdoor with the DJs and all of that to actually get the kids excited about starting the school. We also is partnering with them to help clean up their school. We know there's a lot that goes on. Some of the janitorial, they don't always get to clean up the building, They do a good job, but they only have a small limited time now because school starts back August the 4th, I think. So we have said that we will go in and help do those things. And I say that because my mom was a janitor for ACS for 40 years. 40 years. And I remember running out to the school, Southview School, when I was a kid. And I understood what was needed that she couldn't do or the janitors couldn't get done possibly in that time period. And that was when summer was actually longer than what it is now. So we identified that, whether it's cleaning up, painting, moving chairs. Second, or the third item is school supplies. We're going to do a school supply drive again. As you can see, we decided to do that this year at the end of the year, and we're going to do it the same thing at the beginning of the year. We're going to put together student support programs for these students. We're looking to come in and read with these students, get them fundamentally sound on the goal of reading. Reading is fundamental. Reading is exciting. I didn't like to read when I grew up. I tell you, I didn't. But if you talk about cars or electronics, I would read about it. So we're looking to engage in a student support program that engage the kids in what they like to read. It's not always good to learn about propositions and nouns and verbs. So as long as you get them to read about certain things, they will read. My kids was the same way. And finally, we're going to move and help with the community service projects. We're going to move and get Edgewood, hopefully, to move outside of Edgewood and get involved with the community. We're going to see how that works out. But our concentration right now is dealing strictly with Edgewood. We enjoyed the school. We met some of the kids when we were there. They're a hoot, I tell you. And we enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. And we're looking to continue this partnership going forward. And we love that you gave us the opportunity to partnership with you and use our expertise in showcasing Edgewood Elementary School. Thank you. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but thank you for you and your team stepping in for these kids. And that list of items, I know growing up, I needed those. And so I know how important it is to have that and for students to receive that because it does build confidence.
Yep.
So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right. Okay. Anderson Federation of Teachers is not here this evening. Let's see. Now we're ready for board actions. Okay, first on the agenda is Mr. Elman.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the board. Tonight I have 3 items that I will ask for your approval. And the first is the financial report, Resolution R-2026-21. These are all of the monthly claims for Anderson Community Schools and the Food Service Department for the month of May. And so with that, I ask for the board's approval.
Okay, thank you. I call for a motion for the financial report.
I make a motion to approve Tyler's report.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, by roll call, Mr. Chamberlain,
Aye.
Dr. Hill,
Aye.
aye for me, Mrs. Renz,
Aye.
Mrs. Collette,
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart,
Aye.
Mrs. Green.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you. So the next item that I would like to ask for board's approval tonight is the request to accept the donation to Anderson Police Department. And so as you may recall, a couple months back, we received 44 items from Planet Fitness in terms of fitness equipment. And so that was much more than we had originally even had asked for Planet Fitness to give to us. But with that said, Anderson Police Department then came forward and has since asked for us to donate 1 treadmill, 1 exercise bike, and 1 elliptical of those 44 items that we received. And so Mr. Jeff Sells, actually, he's here tonight. He went through the proper approval with Planet Fitness for us to, even though they donated the items at first to us, to get the permission from Planet Fitness to give it to APD.
Okay.
And so we do have that permission from Planet Fitness to give that donation to them. And so with all of that said, I would like to ask for the board's approval to give us the authority to give APD this fitness equipment.
Okay, thank you. First, Dr. Cronk, do we need to wait for Mrs. Collette to come back for a vote, or are we?
You can, you certainly have enough for a majority, so it's up to
Okay,
you.
okay. We will go ahead and move through. So I would like to call for a motion for the donation to Anderson Police Department.
Second.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Gotcha, bro.
We're good, we're good. Questions and comments from the board? Hmm? Okay, by roll call, Mrs. Green?
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart?
Second.
Oh, good. Joanna?
I said aye.
Oh, yeah. Joanna, we're voting on the donation to Anderson Police Department for
Aye.
equipment. Okay. Mrs. Renz?
Aye.
Aye from me. Dr. Hill?
Aye.
And Mr. Chamberlain?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you. And lastly is the request for the summer 2026 compensation rates. And so this is also something from last year. It's a continuation essentially where you as the board had approved summer 2025 compensation rates, but it was only specifically for summer of 2025. And so with that being said, we do not currently have any board authority to pay the $45 an hour instruction rate for the summer of 2026. And so with that and with the way that our two-year contracts are set up, we felt that for asking the approval only for summer of 2026 was necessary. And so with that, board, I would like to ask for your approval of the $45 an hour instructional rate for summer school for 2026.
Okay, thank you for that. Call a motion for request for summer 2026 compensation rates.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all right. Any questions, comments from the board? No? Okay, by roll call, Mr. Chamberlain?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Aye for me. Mrs. Renz?
Aye.
Mrs. Collette?
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart? Mrs. Green?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, Dr. Dietz.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, teachers, administrators, and members of the public attending tonight's meeting. Before I get into the recommendation for this evening, I wanted to thank the board and our public for supporting our teachers and classified staff who have dedicated their professional careers to Anderson Community Schools, the students, fellow colleagues in the community, and we really appreciate you attending our retirement ceremony where we were able to honor so many teachers, custodians, and classified staff retiring, and it was just a beautiful ceremony, and it was really a nice time to celebrate those careers. With that in mind, in tonight's Human Resources Report, we have Resolution 2026-22, which is the recommendation of the monthly consent agenda addressing personnel recruitments, leaves of absence, retirements, and resignation agreements.
Okay, thank you. I call for a motion for the Human Resources Report.
I make a motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, by roll call, Mrs. Green?
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart?
Aye.
Mrs. Collette?
Aye.
Mrs. Renz?
Aye.
Aye for me. Dr.
Aye.
Hill? And Mr. Chamberlain?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. On to Mrs. McCord.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, in your packet, you will find field trips and conference leave requests. All have been properly reviewed, approved, and their funding sources identified. I request your approval of the items in the accompanying resolution R-2026-23.
Okay, thank you. I call for a motion for field trips and conference leaves.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Mrs. Green,
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart, Mrs. Collette,
Aye.
Mrs. Renz,
Aye.
aye for me, Dr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Chamberlain.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. All right, Dr. Cronk.
Thank you, Board. Madam President, you have in your packet and before you a list of Chromebook ID numbers. Those represent Chromebooks that are declared surplus and no longer usable for Anderson Community Schools. The life of a Chromebook is essentially 4 years, and after that, we declare them surplus. This is a yearly item that we do each June, and I ask that you approve this year's list.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for Chromebook surplus?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
Question,
Yes.
what do we do with the Chromebooks? I'm not for sure.
The seniors' Chromebooks go with them, and the rest are parted out or sent to recycling.
Okay,
Okay.
We just can't throw them away by state law, so.
okay.
All right. So by roll call, Mr. Chamberlain,
Aye.
Dr. Hill,
Aye.
I myself, Mrs. Renz,
Aye.
Mrs. Collette,
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart, Mrs. Green,
Aye.
ayes have it. Okay, now moving on. Mr. Rubright, the floor
Thank
is
you.
yours.
Good evening, and I will apologize ahead of time. I do have fighting laryngitis, so I'll try to speak slowly, and I'm going to have some assistance here. I've delegated some reading out to Mr. Meadows. The purpose of me appearing before you is to present introduction of resolution language, explanation of, and some factual basis supporting that resolution language, an opportunity for board member comments, an opportunity for additional public input, and finally, board consideration and vote on a resolution which would extend the current existing 8-year resolution past 2026 for another 8 years on the same basis as the referendum has existed for the last 8 years. Mr. Meadows, you posted the resolution up there. There are copies available for everybody in the audience, so if they would like to have a copy of that resolution, you would come up and just grab it, you can have it.
Yeah, if anybody would like a copy, go ahead, and Brad has copies of those.
With that resolution, I'm going to defer to my assistant substitute reader. And Mr. Meadows, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So Anderson Community School Corporation, Resolution Number 2026-20. This is a renewal of referendum tax levy resolution. Whereas Indiana Code 20-46-1 as amended permits a public school corporation to adopt a resolution to place a referendum on the ballot if the governing body of the school corporation determines that the school corporation cannot, in a calendar year, carry out its public educational duty unless it imposes a referendum tax levy under the act. And whereas pursuant to the act, the voters of Anderson Community School Corporation approved a referendum tax levy in 2018 with a maximum tax of 10.77 cents for 8 years. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the school corporation, being the governing body of the school corporation, has determined that based on current revenue calculations for the years 2027 and including 2034, the school corporation will not be able to carry out its public educational duty unless it continues to annually impose a referendum tax levy in accordance with the Act. Whereas, pursuant to the Act, a copy of the proposed revenue spending plan was presented to the board, which is attached to this resolution as Exhibit A-1. And whereas, based on the foregoing, the board now desires to adopt a resolution to place a referendum on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot under the Act in order to renew the existing 2018 referendum. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this board hereby determines that based on current revenue calculations for the years 2027 through and including 2034, the school corporation will not be able to carry out its public educational duty unless it continues to impose a maximum annual referendum property tax rate of 10.77 cents and imposes a maximum annual referendum property tax levy of $2,903,078 starting in 2027 through and including 2034. The school corporation does not plan to distribute any revenue from the referendum tax levy deposited into the school corporation's education fund to a charter school. Be it further resolved that there shall be placed on a ballot to be considered in referendum of the registered voters residing in the boundaries of the school corporation at an election to be held on November 3rd, 2026, a question in substantially the following format, subject to completion and determination of certain information by the Madison County Auditor as required by law and subject to approval by the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance, or otherwise referred to as DLGF. Shall Anderson Community School Corporation continue to increase property taxes paid to the school corporation for no more than 8 years for the purpose of funding daily operational needs and academic and support programs by imposing a property tax rate that does not exceed 10.77 cents and results in a maximum annual amount that does not exceed $2,903,078. If this operating referendum public question is not approved by the voters for a median residence of $100,000, the property's annual tax bill would decrease by $54 per year. If this operating referendum public question is approved by the voters, it would be a renewal of the most recent operating referendum public question passed in 2018 with a property tax rate of 10.77 cents. I'm almost there. Thanks for hanging in there. Be it further resolved that the superintendent or the chief financial officer, collectively the administration, or the president or secretary of the board be and hereby is authorized to certify a copy of this resolution to the DLGF in accordance with this act. Be it further resolved that the revenue spending plan presented at this meeting and attached hereto as Exhibit A-1 is hereby approved and adopted. Further, the board confirms that such plan may be amended and supplemented each year as part of the budget process as permitted by Indiana Code 20-46-1-8, Section G, and all other applicable laws. Be it further resolved that any officer of the board and the administration each hereby is authorized, empowered, and directed on behalf of the school corporation to take any and all action as such person deems necessary or desirable to effectuate the foregoing resolutions, including requesting the Madison County Auditor determine certain information for the aforementioned form of the public question as required by the Act and making any revisions to the aforementioned form of the public question or a replacement of such question in its entirety in order to receive approval from the DLGF. Further, that all such actions heretofore made to or by the board or the administration be and hereby are ratified and approved. Thank you.
I would like to summarize and maybe make it a little bit simpler. A lot of the language which appears in this resolution is language which is required by the statute, and therefore that is why it is more laborious than if it wasn't required by the statute. Two, this does not involve any increase in taxes. This is a renewal of the same rate, and this resolution does not increase taxes by its own accord. This resolution simply asks that this question be placed on the ballot of November 3rd, so the taxpayers of this district will have a chance to make that decision. One of our board members has volunteered to give additional explanation and information about this. Board Member Collette, would you assist me here with additional explanation?
That was a lot. I'm choosing to speak from here tonight because I am not speaking for my colleagues. All my colleagues will each decide for him or herself if they choose to support the referendum. But I did want to help explain some things to the public because sometimes it gets confusing as to what is the referendum, what is it for? But tonight we're not just talking about a referendum. We're really talking about what kind of community Anderson chooses to be. We're talking about whether our children will have strong schools, safe buses, working buses, meaningful programs, career pathways, supported teachers, and opportunities that prepare our children for the rest of their life. We're talking about whether Anderson will continue investing in the very thing that every strong community depends on, and that's our children. Because public schools aren't just buildings. That's where kids learn to read. It's where they learn what they think they might want to do someday, where they discover a talent, where they say, I think I might like to go to college. I might like to get a certification. I might like to become an engineer. I might like to take calculus. I might like to be a nurse. Or maybe I'd like to be a parent who can just make a difference. What this referendum is really about is protecting our opportunities. So let's begin with the clearest fact. Anderson Community Schools is asking voters to continue the current operating referendum. The current referendum expires in 2026, and the proposed referendum will continue for 8 years, beginning in 2027. The current rate is 10.77 cents per $100 of assessed value. The proposed rate is 10 cents per $100 of assessed value. So the referendum rate will not increase, and that's important. This is not a request to raise the referendum rate. This is a request to continue local support that is already helping Anderson Community Schools serve our students. We're not raising the rate. However, many districts in Indiana are. On the screen, you'll see 13 districts that had a referendum on the ballot last year. The rates range from 19 to 60 cents, each well above the 10.77 cents we are asking for Anderson property owners to continue supporting ACS. ACS could use more, as we'll talk about in a little bit. However, we didn't want to burden the property owners anymore. If the referendum passes, that local support stays at the same rate. If it fails, the support goes away. And the question for the community isn't simply what does it cost? The question is, what are we protecting? This referendum helps to protect some of the basic fundamental things that help our schools operate. It keeps your buses running. It keeps lights on. It pays for utilities, insurance, transportation, maintenance, safety needs, and the daily costs of serving our students. Now, those things may not sound too glamorous, but every strong program depends on them. A career center can't operate with a building that doesn't function. A classroom can't succeed without supports. A student can't learn if they can't get to school. And a teacher can't focus on instruction if the system around them is unstable. So when we talk about operations, we're not just talking about something that helps students. It's something that helps separate it from student successes. Operations are the foundations of our student success. Anderson Community Schools has programs and supports worth protecting. And that starts with high-quality preschool. We have academic work focused on student growth. We have teacher collaboration, professional learning communities, instructional coaching, and continuous school improvement. We have special services that support individual needs, and we have high-ability programming for students who need a deeper challenge. We have after-school academic support for students who need extra help. And we have one of the strongest assets in this community, the Anderson Career Center. That matters, because not every child's future looks exactly the same. And some students will go to a four-year college. Some will go to a two-year college. Some will earn industry certificates. Some will go directly to the workforce, and some will do all of the above. A strong school district gives students more than one path to success. And that's what Anderson Community Schools is trying to protect. Sometimes we think a school referendum is only about families that have children in school, and it's not. Strong schools affect everyone. They affect whether families move into Anderson or move away. They affect whether employers can find workers. They affect whether neighborhoods are stable. Property values and public safety are also affected. And they also affect whether young people grow up believing Anderson is a place worth staying and building and investing in. Public schools are your community's infrastructure. Just like roads, water lines, public safety, and parks, schools are a part of the foundation of a very healthy community. When schools are strong, the community is stronger. When schools weaken, the community eventually feels it. And now we really need to talk about the financial reality. And we need to do it very, very honestly. Anderson Community Schools is not asking for this referendum because everything is easy. We're asking because several financial pressures are happening all at the same time. The district is already facing yearly deficits. State property tax changes are reducing future revenues. Beginning in 2028, state law requires that Anderson Community Schools share certain local property tax revenue with eligible charter schools in our district. And at the same time, everyday costs are rising. Transportation, fuel, utilities, insurance, maintenance, and the costs of keeping our schools open. This isn't just one problem. It's several problems arising at once. And no responsible board, no responsible administration, and no responsible community can ignore that. Think of it like your household. You have a mortgage, rent, you have car payments, you have insurance, utilities, gas, groceries, repairs, and you're a little short each month. Then your paycheck gets cut. A new bill arrives that you had no idea you were going to have to pay, and it's ongoing. Then the cost of gasoline goes up, your house insurance goes up, your car insurance goes up, repairs go up. What would a responsible family do? Well, you'd protect your income where you could. You'd cut costs where you can. You'd use your savings very carefully. And you'd make a plan. And that is the exact position Anderson Community Schools is in today. The referendum, friends, is not a magic fix. It's not a blank check, and it's not a way to avoid hard decisions. It is one part of a responsible plan to keep current local support in place, while this district also has to make reductions. Right now, Anderson Community Schools is facing an annual deficit of about $6.1 million. That includes about $5 million in the education fund and about $1 million in the operating fund. Those are big numbers. But behind those numbers are real things. Teachers, classrooms, transportation, services, building, operations, utilities, insurance, and support for students. A deficit means the district is spending more than it receives. That can't continue forever. And the longer we wait, the harder the choices become. Now add the new financial impact. Current projections, without the decimals, from Tyler estimate about $11 million or more in reduced revenue just from the state property tax change over 8 years. Required charter school revenue sharing is projected to cost at least $12.8 million or more over 8 years. Together, that is $23.8 million Anderson Community Schools will be losing over 8 years. Now let me say this real carefully. This is not about blaming charter schools or families, because every child matters. Every family is trying to make the best decision that they can. This is about explaining the financial impact of new state law. When local dollars must be shared, fewer local dollars remain available for ACS-operated schools. It's not an opinion. It's the reality the district must face. By 2028, Anderson Community Schools is projected to face a deficit of about $8.5 million without referendum support per year. That is the kind of number that changes the future of a school district. It affects how many options that we have. It affects how quickly cuts must be made. It affects what programs can be sustained, and it affects what decisions are thoughtful or rushed. No one should pretend that this referendum removes the need for financial discipline, but no one should pretend losing $3 million a year makes discipline easier. It does not. It makes the hole deeper. The referendum is projected to generate approximately $2.9 million a year. That funding would not erase the deficit, but it would reduce the deficit. It would continue local support, and it would protect stability. It would give the district more time to make responsible reductions instead of deeper, faster cuts. And that is the difference between planning and panic. That's the difference between cutting carefully and cutting desperately. That is the difference between protecting what works and simply reacting to what hurts. So let's be honest. Without the referendum, the projected 2028 deficit is about $8.25 million a year. With the referendum, the projected deficit is about $5.3 million. That's still serious. That still requires action. It requires cuts, and it requires hard choices. But there's a major difference between 8.25 and 5.3. The referendum reduces the whole. It doesn't erase the whole. And that's exactly why it's responsible. We're not promising something that is not true, and we're not saying it solves everything. We're saying it gives Anderson Community Schools a stronger position to protect students and preserve stability. So what's at stake? Student opportunity is at stake. Career pathways are at stake. Academic support is at stake. Safe and functioning schools are at stake. Transportation, services for students with special needs, stability for families and staff. Anderson's future workforce is at stake. Now, does that mean every program disappears if the referendum fails? No, we're not going to exaggerate. But when a district loses $3 million a year while already facing a major deficit, everything becomes harder to protect. The choices become narrower. The cuts become deeper. The timeline becomes shorter, and damage control becomes harder. That's what's at stake. A lot of people say to me, well, why don't you just cut spending? That's a fair question. The answer is the district must reduce costs. The referendum does not replace that responsibility. It reinforces it. Responsible budgeting means both things at once. Current local support continued and reducing costs responsibly. This means reviewing building usage, transportation routes, staffing through attrition where possible, vendor contracts, energy costs, insurance, unused properties, and long-term facility planning. The referendum is not a way around accountability. It's a way to avoid making financial situation worse while the district does the hard work the accountability requires. A yes vote does not mean there will be no cuts. If you vote yes, that does not mean the district has no more financial problems. A yes vote doesn't mean the conversation goes away. A yes vote means that we continue the current referendum rate. It means local support stays in place. It means the deficit is reduced. It means ACS has more stability, and students have a stronger chance to keep opportunities that matter. It means we don't pull away one source of support at the very moment the district is facing its greatest financial pressure. That's why a yes vote matters. So tonight, the bigger question is not just about a tax rate. The bigger question is, what kind of Anderson do we want? Do we want to be a community that retreats from its schools when times get hard? Or do we want to be a community that tells the truth, faces the numbers, demands responsibility, and still protects opportunity for children? Because that is what strong communities do. They don't pretend the numbers are smaller than they are. They don't spend money without accountability. But they also don't abandon the institution that holds its future. They protect what matters. They fix what needs to be fixed. They invest where the investment makes a difference, and nothing makes a greater difference than investments in our children's education. I know people are tired of hearing about money. I know every household is watching costs, and every taxpayer wants accountability. You should. Public dollars belong to the public. And public schools must be clear, careful, and honest about how those dollars are used. But I also know this: a community can't cut its way to greatness. You can't build a future by weakening the very schools that are preparing the future. A community can't say it believes in its children and then remove the support from the classroom, buses, buildings, services, and programs those children depend on. The referendum before voters is not a cure-all. It's not a blank check. It's not an increase in the current referendum rate. It's a continuation of local support. It's a way to reduce the projected deficit. It's a way to say something powerful about who we are, that we believe Anderson students deserve opportunity, that we believe that families deserve stable schools, and we believe teachers and staff deserve a district that can plan responsibly. We believe employers need a prepared workforce, and strong schools help build strong neighborhoods, and we believe Anderson's future is worth protecting. So when voters go to the ballot, I hope they remember what this referendum really means. It's the same referendum rate, continued local support, responsible reductions, protected opportunity, a strong path forward for our students, for our schools, for our community, for Anderson.
Thank you so much, Joanna, for that information. It was extremely informative and very well said. Mr. Rubright, did you have?
Madam President, before I open it to the public for any comments, I thought it'd be appropriate for any other board members who would like to say some comments and share their feelings about the school district.
Sure.
So let's see if we have any other board members who would like to speak.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes?
I have no kids in the system, but I have kids that came through the system. I came through the system. And I don't like raising taxes. I don't, but we're not raising taxes. It's going to stay the same. When I moved into my neighborhood, there was no kids. They were all retired people. But as Anderson has grown, my community that I live in has grown and changed. I see kids running through my yard, toys in the yards, and I think about when I was a kid. You have elected us to protect our kids. You have elected us to make the best decision for our students. That's why you elected us. And we have an election coming up. And I believe you elected me to make the best decision for not only our students, but the people who teaches them. So I am asking for the ones who supported me during the election, and that was quite a few, to support the referendum. Nothing's going to change. The amount stays the same. We're not the only community that's dealing with this state change, with money being taken and passing on to other school corporations and other schools that's coming into our community. But we need to do what's best for our students. We need to do what's best for our teachers. This is like Mrs. Colette said, this is not going to change anything. It's going to help us deal with the deficit that's coming before us. So I'm asking the supporters of this community, and I don't like it, but we need it for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. Dr. Hill, did you have something?
Thank you, yes. Thank you, Madam President. I'm supporting this, and I think, Ms. Collette, I want to say great job, very thorough.
Very good.
And for all those reasons and more, just to come down to the thing, we can play the blame game of blaming the state legislature, property taxes, and giving money to other educational entities. But at the heart of it is, like, where does our opportunities come? I was telling a story when we reopened E26, the former downtown administrator went by, this is awful, we're just losing money on this. No, it's about pathways and opportunities for kids to do multiple things. All those things that Ms. Collette had in her presentation, the after-school programs, the ability to look beyond and find new interest and new sparks that will bring Anderson youth back here to do great things so that we know that they can do. There's so many things that, you know, you could talk about, and usually when you talk about money, people roll their eyes. It's it's just a natural part of life. You know, nobody wants to think about taxes. Rodney's right. We're elected. We're taxpayers ourselves. We need this to help continue the progress that we've started. And in doing that, we are going to have to make some hard choices. But nobody wants to see, as I talk to see what happens in other districts, because I've talked to some other board members who, some of them were on that list that their referendums passed and some of them failed. And they're really in the bind about, do you continue transportation? Well, if you discontinue transportation, how do the kids get to school? Because a lot of parents are working. They can't stop that time in the morning to drop kids off unless they're able to drop them off really, really early or pick them up really, really late. You have, again, those opportunities that are presented to them through educational opportunities and other pathways for them to look at. I hope that, everybody will consider why this is happening. And again, it doesn't plug the hole. There's still hard choices coming, but we want, kids to be safe. We want kids to learn. We want our teachers and building people to be in good buildings. We don't want to look back down the road and in 20 years have to have another operational referendum because our schools have degraded to that point where there's nothing left for us to do but ask for more money. So, I think so.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Dr. Hill. Listening to Joanna's presentation, I did jot down a few things that I myself wanted to share. And every decision that I have made as a board member has always had our students at the forefront of that decision. This referendum is no different for me. It is what is best, ultimately, for our students. I want to reiterate, as my fellow board members before me have said, that this is a renewal. The current rate will stay exactly the same as it has been. That is no extra out of anyone's pocket. I do emphatically support this referendum. It is what is best for our community. I'm urging you all to think about our youth, think about what this district is working towards, continuing, can bring to these kids. So I'm in support of this. Mrs. Renz, did you have something?
Only that I want to say thank you for all your hard work. I know that you didn't whip that up in 10 minutes. So thank you for making the information available to us and palatable and understandable. I really appreciate that. And I will reiterate, this will not raise our current tax rates. It will remain the same. So I think we need to remember that, and that, you know, we're not, this is a Band-Aid. It's kind of a big Band-Aid, but we will still have deficits that the board will need to wrangle with. So it's something to remember, but we're hoping that you will all understand this is for our students, our teachers, and the well-being of Anderson and the community at large. Thank you again.
Mr. Bacart?
Yeah, no tax is popular, but this tax, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Even if you don't have kids in the system, you live here, and our kids are going to be, you know, we want to make it so that these kids can self-sustain and not look to someone else to try to get a leg up on. So taxes are never popular, but this is the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Green?
I don't have kids, never had them, but I love them. And this is my town, this is my city. And I've had people ask me, why do you want to be on the board? I said, well, it's the best way I can serve this city. I've been so impressed with you students. Every time they bring students in here, I go to one of your functions. Graduation this weekend was just spectacular. And I want to say that, yeah, I come from Anderson, and we have a pretty good school system because we turn out a fine product. And I know you all are going to go far. Everybody that was with that calculus team, you're going to go far. And I sure hope you come back and visit to Anderson, or maybe even build a house here. So, but no, Joanne, that was just a great display. And it made it, yeah, you can give her a hand because.
Help me understand it.
Yeah. But anyway, I support it, and I will support it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rubright?
Thank you, Madam Board President. At this point in time, chance for additional input, because we've had public comments,
Yes.
but this will be additional input on whether or not people would like to speak or not speak in favor of moving forward with the extension of the tax levy.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it is extremely important to us to give the community a chance to speak on the referendum itself. So if any of you in attendance would like to come up and express your concerns, have any other questions, or be in support of it, now's your opportunity.
Madam President,
Yes.
just real quick, this is only to be put on the ballot. It's still going to be up to the public, the taxpayer, the voters to pass this referendum. Even though we are just only approving to put this on the ballot, correct?
Yes.
That is
Okay,
correct.
That is correct.
that's the only thing we're doing is approving that we support this referendum to go on the ballot. The bottom line is still our taxpayers, our voters, who's eligible to vote, to say yes. If you say no, it doesn't pass. But you elected us to make decisions for this community. We're asking you to support this because you elected us to oversee the school system. This is only for us to put on the ballot for you to vote on.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Z.
Okay, sir, if you could just state your name for me, please.
Jonathan Trick.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
First, I will say, I do live here, I've got kids in the system, I fully support this.
Okay.
It is unfortunate we are living in a season that inflation is high, gas prices are high. But my question would be, well, especially looking at the list of other cities and stuff that had a lot higher rates, is this enough? And even if right now we leave it at this amount, in a couple of years, do we have the capability to increase it, or are we locked into this for the 8 years?
Well, this is, in essence, a legal question, so let me attempt to ask that, okay?
You have the floor, Chuck.
2 years ago, Senate Enrolled Act was passed, and it was a solution that was no fixed property taxes. With what's happened recently with the elections, there may be new leadership in the General Assembly, and there may be further reductions in property tax. Somebody said that representing school districts like I do is sort of striking a compromise between what is desirable and what is obtainable. I think this board has made a decision that there are pressures upon citizens here, if this is renewed, for taxes. The answer is no, it's not enough. But what we came to a decision, this is what we think is doable and sellable. Of this extension is not any increase. So, no, it's not enough. But we think this is more palatable and doable at the election on November 3rd. So that's the best way I can answer that.
And does this lock us into this rate for the 8 years, or a couple of years from now, there could be another referendum?
Yes, there can be a referendum restructuring. But again, there's some talk that the General Assembly may prohibit referendums for the next 3 years or 1 year. There was a referendum prohibition last year for certain schools. So it does not allow us, it allows us to restructure under the current law. I cannot predict what the future law would be.
Mr. Rubright, may I speak for a second on one of the questions he asked?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the questions you asked was, the cap, I believe, on throughout the next 8 years. And so just a point of reference from that question. So on the resolution, it discusses two different numbers. The first is the tax rate, which is the 10.77 cents. And then the second dollar amount, or the second number, I should say, is the levy, which is $2.9 million. And so essentially over the next 8 years, that is the cap that we will receive over the next 8 years. So come 2034, we will receive either the $2.9 million or the 10.77 cents, whichever is less on that. Well, I shouldn't say what is less, but the max that we will ever receive is that $2.9 million. So come 2034, even if assessed values greatly increase, we still will not receive more than that $2.9 million.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments from the community? No? Okay.
Mandy, we can.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No further.
Chuck, just a second. What, Bucky?
No, are they done? I want to.
Yes, the community is done, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay?
If there's no further desire for additional input, the ball now is in the board's court. Before you is the written resolution. That is resolution number 2026-20. It is the renewal of referendum tax levy. I am recommending to the board that I have a motion to adopt this resolution, which would have the effect of adding this question to the election for our taxpayers in Anderson on November 3rd, 2026. I make that recommendation that you affirmatively approve this resolution.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, board, I am calling for a motion to adopt the referendum resolution discussed this evening for it to be placed on the ballot in the November 2026 election.
Move to approve resolution number 2026-20, renewal of the referendum tax levy.
Second.
Okay. Another opportunity for questions and comments from the board? No? Okay. By roll call, Mr. Chamberlain?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mrs. Renz?
Aye.
Mrs. Collette?
Aye.
Mr. Bookhart?
Aye.
Mrs. Green? Aye. Ayes have it unanimously. Thank you. And Brad, thank you for being a team player and reading all of that information. Okay. All right. Next up, other business before the board. Is there any new business?
I have something.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, a teacher out of Valley Grove had a windshield cracked. I went out to check out the situation there, and the video did not show any kids throwing rocks at her car. But there were kids up there throwing rocks, and they were dealt with. But the teacher never realized that the windshield was broken until she was on her way home. And coincidentally, the rock that hit her car was sitting down by her windshield wiper. Well, she approached the board and asked if we would compensate her for the $500 deductible, and we kind of said that we didn't want to do that. But unless there's some unidentified flying rocks out there at Valley Grove, one of our little angels threw that rock and broke that lady's windshield. So if I can make a motion, I'd like to make a motion that we do compensate her for the $500 deductible and not let her have to pay that out of her pocket.
Okay. Well, I am asking for Mr. Bookhart's motion to be, or a call for a motion for Mr. Bookhart's request. Is there a motion to put it on?
Can I make it?
Oh, you made it? I'm sorry. So we need a second?
I'm going to second it. And the reason I'm going to second that, the kids were throwing rocks. Okay? They were throwing rocks. The video doesn't show that, but they were throwing rocks. And all of a sudden, now her windshield is broke. So, for me, if there's proof that the kids were throwing rocks, man, I don't know how we cannot. Earlier I said no, because we didn't have any evidence, but God, they were throwing rocks. How does the rock that ended up on her car after, I mean, the rock probably didn't magically roll up on her car. So if the rock was on her car after she saw that it was broken, I think we should pay for it. That's just me.
Okay, motion has been made. There is a second. We will vote. Oh, my
Madam
apologies.
President?
Yes.
Ms. Mar, would you please read back the motion to me?
The motion was to pay back for the broken windshield on the teacher's car.
Was there a dollar amount?
$500.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions, comments?
I just want to say, while we have kids throwing rocks, there was no proof that children aim those rocks at the windshield. It's speculative. It is not proof. We're setting dangerous precedents here. And if we do, that we make the $500 deductible check to her insurance company and not to her personally. But it's all speculation.
I'd like to say too, if you guys know where Valley Grove School is, there's nothing out there but that school. And as those kids are walking out to that bus, there's a bed of rocks about this wide right here. And I call that an attractive nuisance, especially when the bus is late. And then some of the other teachers said that, you know, sometimes it's not supervised. Rocks waiting on the bus, nothing to do, kids' mind. And the rock was lodged right down in the well where her windshield is. And, you know, to me, it's a no-brainer, but that's just me. I say pay the lady. Pay the insurance.
This one was a struggle for me when it came up initially, because I do always care about our teachers and try and listen, and it did tug at my heartstrings. With that said, I am a policy and procedure type of person, and after doing some investigation, not only by the people who were allowed to view the videotapes and could not see actual students throwing rocks at the windshield, but the building administration there also viewed the tapes and allowed this teacher to view the tapes, and it was agreed upon that there was not conclusive evidence that a specific student threw a rock and hit the windshield. And policy and procedure states that if it can be proven that a specific student or students threw rocks and hit a windshield and broke a windshield, that family, not ACS, but that family is then responsible for compensation to that teacher. And for me, there's just, you know, again, tugs at my heartstrings, but policy and procedure, there's no evidence conclusive enough for me to say that we should pay for the windshield. So, does anybody else have any questions, comments? Dr. Hill?
Madam President, thank you. There's not a teacher, administrator, board member up here that doesn't sympathize with what went on there. The question becomes a matter of what kind of position we put ourselves in doing this sort of thing without proven evidence, even though there might be a lot of circumstantial evidence to confirm it. We open ourselves up to having administrators in this board have to subject itself to every claim. So if somebody gets a nick on their car, they walk out, or they, stumble across something, we are going to have to be the arbiters of that. And it puts us in a precarious situation of what gets approved and what doesn't, and then why did this person's bill get approved and the other person's not. I just think it puts us in a very tight legal situation. It puts the administrators in a tight legal situation, and I just think that's unnecessary. Even though that, again, we all sympathize with what happens when your personal property is violated, and that it's coming out of your pocket to repair it.
Well, my thing is, not only was the personal property violated, unless there's some adult, some parent picking that kid up, the video didn't show the person throwing rocks at the car, but they showed him throwing rocks. How else did the lady, well, here's my thing. Either the lady's lying or one of the kids hit the windshield. And that's just my speculation. I was not there. But I did go check out the situation. Okay? And to me, ACS paying $500, that's probably going to put us in the bank, in the bankruptcy. You know, to me, there's just no other way than a kid out there throwing rocks. Tell you, one way we can avoid this in the future, get rid of all those rocks out there. Okay, get rid of all the rocks.
I mean, we talk about circumstantial evidence. They were throwing rocks. Somebody was throwing rocks. I could throw a rock, and you wouldn't know which way I threw it. Okay.
The video is clear that they don't see that.
If I
for
throw
the
it straight in the air, does it mean?
For the entirety of the school day, it's speculative. We're setting ourselves up for listening to every single person who has a claim that they would like for us to deal with in the future, and y'all can pay for it. But it is all speculation on the part. There is no proof. There is no proof.
There's people in prison for speculation.
We're not talking about prison at this point.
But that person that threw that rock may end up in prison one day.
We're not talking about that. That's
Okay,
off the
let's
subject.
keep focused.
Yeah, I am.
Any other board
Hey, come on,
comments,
focus.
questions?
We're going to talk about being focused.
Call for question.
Vote on it.
Okay. Okay, so, call for a vote. I will start, roll call. Mr. Chamberlain?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Nay.
Nay for myself. Mrs. Renz?
Nay.
Mrs. Collette?
Nay.
Mr. Bookhart?
Aye.
Mrs. Green?
Nay.
Okay, nays having it, or having it? Nays have it. All right. I appreciate everyone staying for this long meeting. It was very informative, though. Thank you again to our calculus students. You lead the world.
And for staying all.
Yes,
all
and
out.
for staying. We had many adults that didn't do that, so thank you.
Just so you all know, when you say you will be a senior as of graduation last Saturday, you're a senior.
You are a senior.
You are blessed seniors as of tonight.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a safe evening. Meeting adjourned.